Hey, and welcome. Today, we are diving deep into a force that shapes our economy in ways we definitely feel, but might not always see. We're talking about monopolies, and we're going to break down what it really means when there's only one game in town.
You know that feeling, right? You want to switch your internet provider, maybe get a better deal, but you can't. There is no other option. You're just stuck. Well, that feeling, that lack of choice, it's not an accident. It's the result of a very specific and a very powerful market setup.
So, this market structure, it has a name, and it's a huge one in economics. Let's pull back the curtain and really identify the culprit behind all those frustrating moments where you have absolutely no choice.
And here it is, a monopoly. Simple definition, right? It's a single company that doesn't just dominate the market, it is the market. If you want what they're selling, you have to go through them. There's no one else. And that, as you can imagine, gives them an incredible amount of power.
So, what really makes a monopoly a monopoly? Well, it kind of boils down to these four key ingredients. First, you've got just one seller. Second, there's nothing else out there that's a good substitute for their product. Third, they have major power to influence prices. And fourth, this one's absolutely crucial, there are huge hurdles that keep any potential competitors from even entering the game. So, what does a company do with all this power? Well, it completely changes how they act. See, they don't just play the game, they basically get to write the rules. So let's open up their playbook and see exactly how they operate. Okay, so here's the fundamental difference. A regular company, in a competitive market, is what we call a price taker. They have to accept whatever the going market price is. They don't have a choice. But a monopoly? Oh, they're a price maker. They get to look at the entire demand from every single consumer and then decide what the price is going to be. It's an absolute game changer. But being the price maker isn't a total free-for-all. There's a catch. Think about it. The cheaper something is, the more people are going to want it, right? So if a monopolist wants to sell just one more item, they can't just offer a special little discount to that new customer. Nope. They have to lower the price for everyone. This trade-off is at the very heart of their entire strategy. So how do they find that perfect sweet spot for maximum profit? It's kind of like a two-step dance. First, they figure out the perfect number of things to make. They'll keep producing more as long as the money they get for one extra unit, that's the marginal revenue, is more than what it costs to make it, that's the marginal cost. As soon as those two are equal, they stop. Then, and here's the kicker, they look at that specific quantity and charge the absolute highest price anyone is willing to pay for it. And what's the bottom line? It's this. Unlike in a competitive market, where the price gets driven down close to the cost of production, a monopolist always sets the price higher than the cost of making one more unit. That gap right there, that's where their power and their profit really comes from. Now, this ability to set prices isn't just some abstract economic idea. It has very, very real consequences for all of us. So let's take a look at what actually happens to a market when all the competition just disappears. When you put it side by side like this, the difference is, wow, it is stark. In a competitive world, you get lots of sellers, prices are lower, and more stuff gets made. It's efficient. But under a monopoly, every single one of those things gets worse for us, the consumer. You've got one seller, higher prices, less stuff being sold, and a really inefficient outcome for society as a whole. And this inefficiency, it has a name in economics, and honestly, it sounds just as bad as it is. Deadweight loss. It represents the value that is just lost. It's gone. Poof. A lost opportunity for everyone because of how the monopoly operates. So let's translate that. What does deadweight loss actually mean for you? It means you pay more for less stuff. Simple as that. It means trades that would have made both a buyer and a seller happy just don't happen because the monopolist is holding back supply to keep their prices high. It really is a loss for everyone, except, of course, the monopolist. And because those barriers to entry keep any potential competitors out, a monopolist can keep earning these huge, supernormal profits pretty much forever. In a competitive market, big profits would attract new companies like Moss to a flame, but a monopoly has this fortress built around its business that no one can get through. Now, this isn't just some dusty concept from an old textbook. No way. The battle over monopoly power is one of the biggest economic fights of our time. And the battlefield is, you guessed it, the digital world. When we talk about monopolies today, this is often what we're talking about. I mean, think about the power held by the big search engines or the social media platforms we use every day, or the companies that control the app stores on our phones. They are the new gatekeepers.
All right, but here's where the debate gets really tricky. Are these giant companies good or bad for progress? Well, the argument for them is that those massive profits can be used to fund risky, groundbreaking research and development. Plus, the promise of a patent, which is basically a temporary government-approved monopoly, is a huge incentive to invent new things. But the argument against them is just as powerful. If you have no rivals, where's the pressure to get better? It's easy for complacency to set in. So, what can be done about all this? Well, governments aren't totally powerless. They've got a whole toolkit they can use to deal with monopolies. They can do things like regulate prices, use antitrust laws to stop anti-competitive behavior, or even, in extreme cases, break up massive companies. Sometimes they just try to find ways to help new competitors get a foot in the door. And all of this leaves us with probably one of the biggest questions facing our modern economy. We all rely on the services these tech giants provide, right? But how do we rein in their immense power to make sure it's a fair deal for everybody without accidentally crushing the very innovation that we all benefit from? That's the incredibly difficult tightrope that regulators and really all of us are walking right now.